deutsches Volk 4 Jahre. Und ich schwöre dir, so wie wir und so wie ich in dieses Amt eintrat, so will ich dann gehen. Ich tat es nicht um Gehalt und nicht um Lohn. Ich tat es um deiner selbst willen.
How fortunate for leaders, Hitler said to his inner circle, that men do not think. Make the lie big, make it simple, keep it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. In Mein Kampf, Hitler's autobiography, he wrote, "The great masses of the people will more easily fall victim to a big lie than a small one." The book was widely read by the German people at the time. The masses believed him anyway, or at the very most, they ignored him. It is a fact that fewer than 10% of Germany's population of 79.7 million people actively worked or campaigned to bring about Hitler's change. Even at the height of its power in 1945, the Nazi political party boasted only 8.5 million members. So the remaining 90% of Germans, teachers and doctors and ministers and farmers, did what? Stood by? Watched? Essentially, yes. Mothers and fathers held their voices, covered their eyes, and closed their ears. The vast majority of an educated population accepted their salaries and avoided the uncomfortable truth that lingered over them like a serpent waiting to strike. And when the Nazis came for their children, it was too late. An eyewitness stated,
"We heard stories of what was happening to the Jews, but we tried to distance ourselves from it, because we felt, what could anyone do to stop it?"
Each Sunday morning, we could hear the train whistles blowing in the distance, then the wheels coming over the tracks.
We became disturbed when we heard cries coming from the train as it passed by. We realized that it was carrying Jews like cattle in the cars.
Week after week, the whistle would blow.
We dreaded to hear the sounds of those wheels because we knew that we would hear the cries of the Jews en route to a death camp.
Their screams tormented us.
We knew the time the train was coming, and when we heard the whistle blow, we began singing hymns. By the time the train came past our church, we were singing at the top of our voices.
If we heard the screams, we sang more loudly, and soon we heard them no more.
with all we know now, does anyone believe that telling the truth will solve all a nation's problems? Of course not, but it is the beginning. In fact, speaking truth should be the least we require of our elected leaders. After all, what are our standards for being led? You see, the danger to America is not a single politician with ill intent, or even a group of them. The most dangerous thing any nation faces is a citizenry capable of trusting a liar to lead them. In the long run, it is much easier to undo the policies of crooked leadership than to restore common sense and wisdom to a deceived population willing to elect such a leader in the first place. Any country can survive having chosen a fool as their leader, but history has shown time and again that a nation of fools is surely doomed. Incredibly, there are 545 human beings who are directly, legally, morally, and individually responsible for every problem America faces. Have you ever wondered why America doesn't have a balanced budget? Have you ever in your life ever heard of a politician who wasn't for a balanced budget? Meet the 545 men and women who enact every law, propose every budget, and set every policy enforced on the citizens of the United States of America. 1 president, 9 Supreme Court justices, 100 senators, and 435 members of the House of Representatives. By the way, have you ever noticed that if any one of us lies to them, it is a felony? But if any one of them lies to us, it is considered politics. Can 311 million Americans ever hope to wrestle the power away from 545? One would think so. But did you know that during the past quarter century, no presidential election has been won by more than 10 million ballots cast? Yet, every federal election during the same time period had at least 100 million people of voting age who did not bother to vote. Why do these civilizations all seem to follow the same identifiable sequence? From bondage to spiritual faith. From spiritual faith to courage. From courage to liberty. From liberty to abundance. From abundance to complacency. From complacency to apathy. From apathy to dependence. And finally, from dependence back into bondage? Is lying to get elected acceptable? Even if the candidate's intention is to get elected in order to do good work? Is there really any power in one's intention anyway? Have you ever noticed how we judge the bad guys by their actions and the good guys by their intentions? Who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Would truth be a starting point for telling the difference? What is our nation's course? Do you believe that one can determine a probable destination by examining the direction in which one is traveling? If so, where are we headed? Can you hear the wheels and the whistle coming down the track? How loud are you singing?